Warriors, what's going on? It is Monday, February the 2nd, 2026. Can you believe it's February? Well, I tell you what, I'm so excited to say that it is also Black History Month. And I'm telling you, I've never been prouder to be Black in the United States than this month right here. So much is going on the docket tonight, and it's hot. Tonight's episode is titled Pregnancy Claims, Epstein Tapes, Speed Runs, and Federal Cuffs. Yep, everybody, tonight is a new night, a new show night announcement right here. So instead of Tuesday and Thursday, we're moving to Monday and Thursday. That's right, we're moving to Mondays and Thursdays at the same time, though, at 9:30 p.m. As usual, let's see who joined us tonight in the chat. First up, we have Linnell Seiler. All right, Linnell from Anderson, Indiana. Welcome back to Celebrity Court. Afra sings. She says she knows Vernon Davis. What did he do? Well, we're going to tell you what he did. And boy, was it not good. Let's hope that we find out more from the lawyers tonight. Sandra McGee. All right, Sandra. Always good to see your name. Happy Monday to you as well. Edita. Happy Monday. Happy Black History Month. Yes, right, Edita. Thank you. Leandra, 7140. Vernon Davis was in the NFL. I think he is from D.C. Yes, he is back in the DMV. So you are correct about that. Brenda K, always so good to see your name when we sign in. Caramel, 1977 Cancer. Yes, happy Black History Month. Caramel, 1977 Cancer. JP Mills, always good to see that name. SL Warrior, wouldn't be a show without you. Colette Davis, where you been? Our real estate broker here in the DMV. Welcome back. New York Marie, what's going on? New York in the house. It's freezing in New York. I'll be there Thursday, Marie. I'll be there Thursday. All right, Brian and Simone, what's going on? Hey, algoriters. Tafia, Tafia? Did I get that right? I love your emojis. They always make me laugh. Nisha Phillips. Thank you, Nisha. Welcome back. Tracy Odom, welcome. Dominic Starr. That's the one that has the emojis too. Pisces Unicorn. Welcome. Regina and I went to college together. Regina, one of the best nurses in the business. Welcome back. Camille Lindsay. Hey, Camille from DC. Are you new? Welcome. If you are, high maintenance, come on in here. All right, we got some new names. I'm super excited about that. All right, everybody, let's get it started. Tonight on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, baby, the headlines are messy, and we're getting it messy on a Monday. The stakes are legal, and the culture is about to put everybody on the stand, because that's what we do here. First up, we have a former NFL star breaks his silence after allegations he assaulted a woman 8 months pregnant. He says it's malicious, but guess what? He also says it's false. Our second case tonight, our sitting president, our president, threatens legal action over newly released Epstein-related material and claims it's all a setup, while an author and a state in a recording sit at the center of this defamation case. Gosh, have you guys heard of some of the things that's going on around those Epstein files? It looks like the house is coming down. Was Cat Williams onto something? All right, and then we're going to talk about two Olympic track superstars end up detained and straight to jail after a 100 miles per hour stop. Body cam footage goes viral, and the law reminds everyone, your career don't outrank public safety, baby. We don't care how many gold medals you got. And last but not least, federal agents take Don Lemon into custody in Los Angeles over a case tied to a church protest, raising the loudest question of the night, which we're going to unpack it completely here. Where does journalism end and participation begin? Now, remember, this is not criminal court. This is the court of public opinion. In the court of public opinion, I bring the facts, my attorneys bring the law, and you, the viewers, will serve as the jury and decide who's guilty and not guilty. Court is officially in session. Joining us tonight, we have two legal beagles that are going to help me break this all down and get the conversation started. Attorney Carter, Attorney Weiss, welcome back to Celebrity Court on our new night, and happy Black History Month.
Absolutely. And happy not being in the Epstein files. I haven't seen you in there. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Watch
And
it.
I don't know. There might be a Sean Carter in there, but I think it's SHAWN,
There you go.
not the real way of saying SEAN. So our Sean Carter, he's good to go and clear. The other one, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Can't wait till we talk about that. Jay-Z. Can you believe it? Anyway, listen, all I did with Trump in my years of hanging out with him, we went to dinner. I've done a couple of stints at Mar-a-Lago. I also went to his wedding. He came to mine. Other than that, I never saw an island. I did fly on a plane or two with him. But, I never flew to the Epstein Island with him. But other than that, I've only celebrated at Mar-a-Lago with him, maybe his house in the Hamptons, his house in New York City, but never on the Epstein Island. All right, with that being said, I want to make a quick reminder. Everyone is presumed innocent. We're discussing allegation, charges, and civil claims, not issuing real verdicts. I need to say that because you never know who might be listening to the celebrity court and try to send us some notices, right, lawyers? All right, let's get this started. First up, the allegation that makes the internet skip the evidence and sprint straight to the verdict. Reports say a woman accused Vernon Davis of assault during a domestic dispute while she was 8 months pregnant. He publicly denied wrongdoing and framed the accusation as malicious attempt to damage his name. Now, I think this is going to be very interesting, and I chose this case specifically because there are a lot of things around pregnant women, and if you assault, hit, ruffle, scuffle with a pregnant woman, the charges can be different. I want everybody, including the jury members, to know this is criminal exposure if prosecutors believe that there was unlawful force. It has to be unlawful. And pregnancy, believe it or not, can matter legally. Some jurisdictions, especially in the DMV, treat a pregnant complainant as an aggregating factor because the risk profile is different. All right, Sean Carter, break it down for us. Now, this is what I need to know. First, I want you to start off telling us what actually happened. And also, I want you to talk to me about in a domestic setting, right? What does the state actually have to prove? Do they have to prove that he actually put his hands on her? Or do they have to just improve intent? Is it because hands had to be there? Does it have to be injury, even though, or credibility? What's the backbone of a charge like this? Because something I didn't know was pretty much you can't put your hands on a pregnant woman ever.
No, and you probably shouldn't be putting your hands on anybody. But let's get back to the allegations. All right. So according to this complaint, May 31st of last year, a dispute happens between Davis and this pregnant woman. By the way, at this point, she's barely pregnant. All right, remember, that was 9 months. That was 7 months ago. So she must have just got the test back. It was regarding the woman's pregnancy. And I imagine how that went. He said, I'm pregnant. He said, woman, you weren't supposed to be pregnant. You supposed to be on the pill. And she said, I forgot that day. And you know how that happens. All right. That's how 90% of the babies are born. And so she claims that Davis threw a few magazines and books at her and hit her and struck her with the books. So it's intelligent assault, right? It's knowledgeable. I'm sure he was saying, "Hey, I was just trying to, get your mind right, help you out with some more knowledge by really drilling that into your forehead." And anyway, about a month later, they have another argument because apparently the second test come back positive too, right? And so a month later, they have an argument in which she says that he actually slapped her in the face.
Oh,
and then he responds, and by the way, this is not a good response, guys. He says, look, if I had slapped you in the face, your face would be all black and blue now. And you barely got a little red on there. So stop whining. That's not going to be a good defense. The black and blue defense, not going to work well at all. Okay. And so now the court case is going to come before court. And you're right. In Virginia, they're very serious about this. Now, let's just be clear. The underlying charge is assault. All right. And battery. And assault means that basically you make a movement towards someone that's threatening. So if you just flinch at someone, that's assault. Certainly, if you throw something at them and you miss them, that's assault. Now, if you hit them with it, it's battery. By the way, you don't have to hurt them, right? You could throw a pillow at somebody, right? But if you do something that is meant to be harmful and offensive to somebody, degrading, and you strike them, that's battery. And then there's an enhancement with regard to a pregnant person. And obviously the reason for that is because the pregnant person is fending off books for two, right? And so obviously we have a young unborn child there, and they're particularly vulnerable. And so it turns it from a misdemeanor, right? Because you can usually fling a good book at somebody, right? I mean, it can't be like a hardcover, but you can really fling a paperback at somebody, but not a pregnant woman. And it's possible he could face up to 20 years. Now, not likely, but 20 years is the maximum enhancement there if you assault a pregnant person, a woman.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Weiss. All right, let's see. Bring me up on. I'm still freezing, guys.
No, you're good now, Your Honor.
I'm all right. Okay, cool. All right, so I want to know why. Okay, I want to make sure I'm sensitive, but I'm not being insensitive. Why, Jason? What does the pregnancy do? How does pregnancy affect the charges and conditions? Like, does it enhance it?
Yeah.
Is it a tougher bonds condition? Is it stricter protective orders? What's typical here? Because I'm not really understanding it.
See, you got to remember, and this is what Attorney Carter touched on, right? A pregnant woman is more vulnerable than someone who's not pregnant. I mean, that's the way to do it. You have yourself and you have that child. So that child needs to be protected. So again, we talk about it in family law court all the time. What's the number one thing that if you take any family law class, you need to know? What is in the best interest of the child? I will say this. I'm so glad I didn't send him a copy of my book, because I don't want him flinging my book at his baby mama, because I don't want that. So, and the second one is thicker, so I mean that would have been even worse.
All right, so let me ask you this. Let's go to the chat real quick. SL Warrior says, "Do we have a police report? Is there a police report, Sean Carter?"
There is a statement, at least from the police board, and there's a statement from the prosecutors. They filed charges. This is going to court. So they made their statements about these witnesses, the things I read off to you. And so we're going to go there. This is something that is going to happen. Now, he says none of this happened. I didn't do any of that. I don't even read. He said, hey, I'm illiterate. I don't even own a book. All right. And I've seen him give interviews. I kind of believe him. That's a good defense for him. But chances are excellent that this is going to be a he said, she said in court, or somebody is going to get a new Birkin bag and might not get to.
And it go away. Well, Brenda K says, I need to see more evidence on this. All I'm hearing is she said, he said. That's interesting coming from a woman, right? SL Warrior says, especially for the first offense. Essie Stone says, so very sorry. I guess they might be talking about Christine R. All right, Caramel 1977 Cancer has a question. Did he smack her after the first and second test? Oh, you're so messy, Caramel. You're so messy. All right, JP Mills says, these poorly raised men. I have to agree. If he actually put his hands on her for any reason as it relates to that testing, then he should have to suffer the consequences. All right, so let's make sure that we have this down here, right? Are we more upset because she's pregnant? What do you guys think? Do you think, or, are we more upset because once again, and algorithms jump down in the chat and tell me this, are we just upset once again, a very successful NFL black male is back in celebrity court beating up their white wives and girlfriends? Which one are we more upset about? I mean, are we going to ever learn here would be my question. Drop down in the chat. All right, attorneys, give me on a scale of 1 to 10 on the strength of this case based on what we know so far. It just seems to me for some reason, I don't know. I don't know. I need to see some pictures. I need to hear more evidence for me. But on a scale of 1 to 10, Sean Carter, what's the strength of this case?
It's low, maybe a 3 or 4, assuming those books didn't leave a mark. Now, if he put his hands on the face and we got a mark there, that's going to be an issue. But sadly, unfortunately, these things unfortunately aren't really punished as strongly as they should be. I don't think he's going to be in prison for this.
Okay. I got it. Attorney Weiss?
So I think it's a strong case that they're going to advance, but I do agree with Attorney Carter that this is not going to be a prison thing. This is going to be counseling, fine, maybe a stay away order, something along those lines. But it's got a 7 or an 8 to advance, but it's got a 3 with regard to punishment.
All right, Leandra 7140 says, I'm more upset these black men haven't learned. I have to can't argue with you when you're right on that. Brenda K says, no, I'm not upset, just want the truth. Okay, and Caramel 1977 says she gives it a 3. All right, now from a domestic allegation to the most convulsive legal cocktail in America. We are talking about the intersection of defamation, privacy, and the U.S. Department of Justice Epstein material. All right, the second case, politics meets litigation threats. Reports say the president is considering legal action connected to the newly released Epstein-related material and communication involving a journalist author, framing it as a smear effort and suggesting coordination to harm him politically. Duh. Like, come on, dude. What? I guess I would sue too, because if we really see what's really going on and all the time they spent together and all the things that they did, is he going to get in trouble? That's the question. All right, so I think for the algorithms, this is what you need to know. This is where public figures hit the legal brick wall. Defamation standards are higher when you're famous because the law assumes you have more power to respond, and the First Amendment protects a lot of ugly speech. But there's another lane people forget. That's authenticity and distribution. Now, if recordings or materials are unlawfully obtained or distributed, you can see claims that sound like privacy, publication, or related tort theories, depending on the facts and the jurisdiction. All right, so Sean Carter, let's go to you first. Defamation 101 for public figures, but like if he did it, if the reporter was just reporting the material that he had, then how is this going to grow any legs?
Come on. Well, Attorney Carter, as your attorney, let me advise you, be very careful what you say so that legs don't get grown.
Fair enough. I'm gonna keep the legs pretty stubby here.
All 3, right?
Here's I can't promise the last one, but I'm gonna give you 2. I'm gonna give you 2 stable. But the point is this, though, is that what Trump is trying to claim is that Wolff and Epstein were sitting in these emails and they were conspiring. They were going to try to make sure that they basically put the screws to Trump. Remember, Trump was president the first when Epstein, went to jail and ended up dying in jail. And so they said, hey, maybe we can get Trump to actually, get these charges reduced because he was in on some of this stuff too.
Right.
Okay. And right. Trump is saying that is a conspiracy to defamation. One, here's a problem with it. One, defamation has to be untrue. It has to be a lie about you. All right. So if they conspiring to tell the truth, you got no case at all. Secondly, defamation requires you to publish a statement about somebody. So, for instance, behind closed doors, before and after the show, all right, the things that we say about, Shaitan are horrible, all right? But we don't say these out here because that would be defamation. But we can say it between ourselves, and I'm teasing Shaitan, she's not here. We don't have anything to say about her. But you get it, though. It's like if you're just having a proper conversation, we can say whatever we want. We can trash talk you all you want. The defamation is if you publish it. And here they didn't publish it. The Department of Justice published this stuff, right? They didn't say anything about it. And it was for a court order. They didn't really have any choice. Now, Jason's going to tell me where I'm wrong here, but go ahead. Where?
Just a slightly different. When you're saying publish, I just want to make sure the algorithms are listening. That doesn't mean you have to go on Instagram and publish it there. Publishing means just spoken to a third person. So technically, if me, you, and Al are sitting after the show when we say something bad about Shaitan, like how she gets paid vacation and the rest of us don't, then we go ahead and that would be potentially defamation when we're saying that, amongst the 3 of us, because we're publishing it to Al, we're publishing it to you. So it doesn't need to be like posted up on the internet. It could just be a statement. That's where it is. And look, but again, he's a public figure. So, and truth is always a defense. That's all I'm going to say. So if you got the truth on your side, you got your defense. Well,
so let me ask you this, because to me, all I'm hearing is what he's been doing his whole presidency. Can y'all believe it's only been a year? It's only been a year. There have been more. He has created more lawsuits and put more lawsuits into the system than he has in any bill or law that he's passed since he's been been in the White House. So
look, I know this is slightly off topic, but he's suing what, the Department of the DOJ or the Department for releasing his taxes for what, $10 billion? I mean, come on. He's a sitting president.
Is that even possible, Attorney Carter? Can you break that down for us?
Fortunately not. And here's why. Now, here's the weird part is he can sue, all right, because unfortunately we don't have a law that says the president can't sue the government he's running, which we should have a law. So maybe in 2029, that'd be the first thing the president can do is make that a law. But secondly, he's arguing that they owe him $10 billion because they released his files, his tax returns. By the way, they released his tax returns in 2017 when he was president before. So that was his government that did it. But in addition to that, the statutory penalty for the IRS doing that is $1,000. So he's arguing that he's entitled to 10,000 times more, right, than actually the law allows. I'm sorry, 10 million times more than the law allows. And that simply won't fly. So even if he gets his Department of Justice, and they would, those fools will say, oh yeah, we're going to settle this. We'll give Trump $5 billion. They can't write the check from the Department of Justice. They got to go to the Treasury. And the Treasury, before they can write a check, has to have a reason. And the reason can't be because the president just strong-armed him out of millions of dollars. But the president likes to use litigation, defensively. He doesn't expect to win any of these lawsuits. It's part of just trying to constantly bury other people in legal fees. Remember, he doesn't pay his legal fees, so he doesn't worry about that.
Right.
And then secondly, also to change the narrative. So, for example, instead of us talking about the 3,000 times they talked about Trump in the Epstein file, he wants us now talking about this stupid lawsuit he wants to file against Wolff and Epstein. But the truth of the matter is, Donnie, I know this. Ain't nobody ever talked about me 3,000 times nowhere. So you did something.
Jason, let me ask you this. How old is this whole lawsuit threat? I mean, is he going to be able to use this for his entire presidency? Like, I'm so confused. And the deal is, like Sean, I don't know if Sean said this or not, but I think he was going to say this. For those who don't know, all the lawsuits and all the laws that we saw him trying to pass in the first 12 months, most of them were thrown out or overruled. So why is the president allowed to sue this many times? Number one, how long is this threat going to? How long is this form of threat going to continually be supported? We got to remember, these are our tax dollars. These are our tax dollars that's paying for this man to be unhinged and sue everybody that says anything against him. That's costing us a lot of money. And we're only in the first year of his presidency. Give me some answers here, Attorney Weiss.
So it looks like it's going to run for what, another 2 years and 11 months. I mean, that's basically what's going to happen. That's what he's got left. And he goes ahead. He throws out these lawsuits. Judges rule for him or against him, put it on hold, toss out his cases, but there's really no accountability for it. He loses the case, he moves on to the next one. And usually smacking somebody with attorney's fees and costs and fines and all of this, that's a deterrent. We haven't heard anywhere where President Trump lost and he was ordered to pay fees.
Right.
That hasn't happened. Because then we're going to be paying those fees as the taxpayer. So this will continue. And again, like I said at the top of this story, as the attorney for the show, I'm advising everybody to be very, very quiet. I think it's time for the next story. Let's speed off to the next story, Your Honor.
All right. Jason, come on, grow some balls here, son. All right. JP Mills says, he will be permanently sleeping in 2 years. Ooh. Christine R says, Jason, I hope you didn't vote for him or she's going to take back her love. Leandria 7140 says, I just wish he'd go away. JP Mills says, Trump needs to talk about sitting himself in the, I'm not going to say that word. All right. Nisha Phillips says, I wish they just locked Trump up already. I'm so sick of hearing about this, both of them. Colette Davis says, I'm so sick of him. Please impeach him from office. Let's read one more. And...
I heard Diddy's looking for a new roommate, so you never know.
All right. this is interesting to me. I just don't know that, and I've said this before, and I posted this on Instagram. I personally don't know that I have the fortitude to emotionally and mentally go through 3 more years of this. This is just a lot of contention. It's a lot of division. It's a lot of hate. If you say anything that he doesn't like, he then puts you on this, makes you a target, and basically harasses you for the extent in which his power allows. That to me should be unacceptable. All right, algoritmers, if you agree, drop down in the chat. What do you think on a scale of 1 to 10? How are things? How are you feeling about the presidency? Before we go, lawyers, please tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is Trump's defense here, Sean Carter?
It's about as weak as his bladder. It's 1, 2, and it won't make it through the night.
All right, let's go, Attorney Weiss.
I think the whole case is weak. So the case is a 1, maybe a 2. And if it weren't President Trump, it would be a 0.
All right, everybody, there you have it. Before we move on, though, be sure to hit that like button. Aren't you guys enjoying the fellas tonight? Hey, y'all, Christine R. said, none of these long-winded estrogen women in here tonight. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you already subscribed. Be sure to hit the share button and invite some people over to enjoy the show on our new night, Monday night. As always, don't forget to turn on your notifications so that you don't forget the shows now on Monday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. And as always, continue to jump down in that chat as we continue on with the show. All right, now we're leaving the press conference and hitting the highway, where the only thing faster than the car is the consequences, right? You heard me. Third case, we're talking about track stars, Olympic winners, a traffic stop, and a viral moment. Now, reports say there was a stop involving alleged speeding that was over 100 miles per hour. Now, coverage includes that one of them was arrested and released with a court date, and the other one, reports say, tied to the stop to additional allegations involving resistance and drug paraphernalia. So off to jail, that one went too. Now, for the algorithms, this is the part people keep getting wrong. Reckless driving, and I can't wait for Sean Carter to break this down. Reckless driving is not about getting a ticket. At certain speeds and circumstances, it's criminal. It's a criminal exposure, actually. Then stack on resisting type allegations. Now you're negotiating with the court and not the internet. Bailiff, take it away.
100, 101, passing a car at 101, 103, 104. I would wipe that smile off your face. I'm Sergeant McDaniels with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. You're being stopped for dangerous excessive speeding.
I understand my tire at the back is like literally on 29.
So you're driving at 100. Hold on. You're driving at 104 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone with subpar equipment, flashing people to get out of your lights, out of your lane, following too close, using every lane to pass everybody, cutting me off, passing a car on the inside shoulder with their hazard lights on. You're going to jail for dangerous excessive speeding.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. My phone, I didn't even know my car was speeding.
That's why they give you a speedometer.
I totally understand. I communicated. I really do not want to go to jail.
Most people don't, but you got to think about that before you do the speed. I need your license, your registration, and your insurance. You were speeding.
Work with me. I understand that. I would take the ticket. I would show the
No,
court.
like I told you, you're going to jail.
Please don't allow me to go to please, sir. Please.
Listen to me.
Please, sir. I really.
If nothing you say is going to change that. You are going to jail.
Sir, am I going to jail? Like,
Yes.
Sir, I really was not intentionally speeding at
That's
all.
even more scary.
Sir,
that means that you're doing
please.
things unintentionally on a
Sir,
task that
please,
requires
please,
all
sir,
your attention.
Sir, please, I'm begging you.
You are going to have a little bit of time to make some phone calls. You are going to jail. I am towing your car.
Please, sir, don't take me to jail. I will do everything.
No.
I will do everything.
You have two options. Listen.
Sir, please.
Listen, you have two options.
Please, sir.
The first option is you can either ride with me in my car.
Damn, that's loud.
The second option is you are going to go to jail in a cage car.
No,
Which do you prefer?
I promise you, I don't want to go to jail. I'm right here. I have a team here. I have a coach, everything, sir. I was not intentionally doing anything, and I am.
You're not listening. You're repeating yourself and not listening. Nothing you say is going to change.
Sir, I want to.
All right, so make some phone calls. Let people know that you're going to have a $500 bond.
Wow. Wow. All right, before we break this down, and I definitely want to get to it. All right, we got a super chat. We got a super chat by Colette Davis. Thank you so much, Colette, for the super chat. That might be one of the largest super chats we've gotten. Come on, Colette Davis. If y'all need a good real estate broker in the DC area, be sure to reach out to Colette Davis. Colette Davis, there you go. Thank you so much for that super chat. All right, guys, this is just so much is going on here because what we know is she was being followed by her boyfriend, who then later pulled over to try to stop his girlfriend from being arrested. Now, first of all, I'm not trying to be shady, but when did she start dating guys? Just kidding. All right, Sean Carter. Sean Carter.
She needs to trade in whatever car she got there for a Subaru. They don't go 100 miles an hour. All right, get her less Subaru. And two, okay, you're right. She needs to stop dating men. Last time we saw the two of them, and this the crazy thing is, last time we saw them, she was getting arrested for beating them up in the airport.
Right.
And now they're doing, what was that? Fast and Furious, right? Tokyo Drift, all right, in the middle of Florida, 101 miles an hour. Where was she planning on going to? All right. I know one thing. When those Jamaican girls are running against her, she don't run that fast. All right, but now she can go fast, huh? In the car, 104. That's too fast, girl. And I'm never for the cops. I really am not. I got the NWA t-shirt on underneath this. All right. I'm always yelling at blank the police. But that policeman was right there. You need to go to jail. And he told her, all right, you can go to jail or you can go to jail. Those are your two options. Pick one. And she picked neither one.
All right, Jason, this is in Florida. Tell us, is it about the speed? Is it about the conditions? What is the speed threshold so that our algorithms will know that after a certain speed, you're going to jail. You're not getting a ticket. You possibly are going to jail. So which is it? Is it the speed, the actual number? Was it the traffic conditions? What was it?
So in Florida, we have something called the super speeder. That's something that's new. And I think it's 50 miles over the speed limit. So, I mean, she was flying. You hit triple digits, you get pulled over, no matter what it is, you're going to get arrested and you're going to jail. She was also, the cop said it, swerving around, going off, driving faulty equipment. Like, he saw all of this and he wasn't giving in at all. He basically said, look, you broke the law. You have two options. He did say you can get in the car with me, or you could go ahead and get in the cage. So, it was not good. And then the boyfriend showed up afterwards and wasn't minding his own business. And, he got himself into trouble too. So I think they may have shared the back of the patrol car.
Okay, what exactly happened when he showed up, Attorney Carter?
And that's unclear. All right, we don't really have camera on that. What they say is that he resisted non-violently. So he wasn't pushing and shoving, but they, like, hey, you need to back up. We're going to take your girl to jail. And he kind of like, hey, don't take my girl to jail. And by the way, brother, think about it. She need to be in jail. That way she won't be whooping you in the airport. All right, for one. But two, think about how crazy this is. You got two Olympic sprinters. All right. And they are doing, they're going 100 miles an hour on the freeway. And please understand, he had to be going pretty fast because he was able to catch up with her. Right? Obviously, he couldn't be going 65. Otherwise, he would have got there 2 weeks later. All right, so they're both going 100 miles an hour on the freeway. They're not good together. I know someone said they can date who they want. You can date who you want until you get arrested twice. That's the rule in my house. When you get arrested twice, you got to break up with that person.
Within a year. But this is what blows my mind about these two. You got to pull over to help your girlfriend. Both of y'all need anger management. You're fighting with the cop. The cop was minding his business doing his job. You pulled over fighting with the cop. The cop says, okay, you want the heat? Then now I'm going to check your car. He checked their car, and he in there with a pipe in the front seat and get arrested for drug paraphernalia. Like, how DUMB is that? How dumb is that? So you were good and fine. No criminal record. Well, not this month. Until you wanted to be aggressive with a cop who was pulling your girl over for going 50 miles over the speed limit. And because you wouldn't shut your mouth and mind your business, you're going to jail now for drug paraphernalia. Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong, Your Honor. And look, he was probably trying to help her with the 20 million reasons why she didn't want to go to jail and get picked up, because she's got a little agreement with Nike, and that's going to be a problem. So stay tuned. This case is not over. She might be out, and she might turn in the Aston Martin.
Really quickly, explain to us what you mean. What do you mean by that? Is it the morality clause? Did they tell her before when she got arrested, hey, girl, you got to stop getting in trouble with the law because you're making Nike look bad,
Yep.
She's come a long way now. She's come a very long way than a couple of years ago because she was just reckless everywhere she went. Either they've covered it up, they've done a good job of covering up and suppressing it, and just not, people aren't reporting it as much, or they're paying people or something, because at the end of the day, she's still doing the same crap she did 3-4 years ago.
Yep. And look, the fact that this is all over social media, that we covering this on the show, that it was on Instagram, that it was everywhere, Nike's not going to be able to go ahead and tolerate this one, and something's going to have to happen. And unfortunately, she's going to lose a lot of money. This is going to be the most expensive ticket and tire at 29 pressure that anybody's ever experienced.
All right, really quickly, lawyers, tell me the strength of this case. Ooh, this seems pretty strong, right, Attorney Carter?
It's very strong, which is why, and you've been glossing over this. We've been glossing over the fact that what exactly was the anything Sha'Carri was willing to do to avoid the jail, because it looked like it involved, I don't know how to say it, but some oral stipulations. Put it that way.
Well, I ain't gonna hold you, counselor. But if I had my $22 million contract on the line, I'll be negotiating. I'm like, okay, officer, hold on now. Hold on now. What can we do over here, Pops?
The interesting thing is that she never once, at least in that video, said, do you know who I am? I am this.
It almost popped out. It almost popped out. All right, guys, we got to keep it moving. Hold on, Jason. We got to keep it moving. We got running
a 9. A 9.
You guys were so good tonight. All right, everybody, the last case. This one is not celebrity mess. This one is all about power. Reports say that Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents in Los Angeles over the weekend. He was brought into federal court and released on his own recognizances. Now, CBS News reports the arrest ties back to his coverage of an anti-ICE protest that disturbed a service at City's Church in St. Paul, where a grand jury, and I want to talk about this, Sean Carter, what does that mean? Where a grand jury indictment included federal civil rights style charges framed around conspiring to disrupt worshiper rights. All right, so it's conspiring to disrupt worshipers' rights. And his position is simple. I was doing my job covering the news. All right, so for the algorithms, this is conspiracy. This is a press function versus the interrupting the rights. All right. So Sean Carter, please, let's start with you. Give us a little history on this. And for conspiracy, this is what I want to know. What's the legal difference between being present, filming an interview versus being part of the plan?
Okay. So the difference is simply that is, if you're just going to be there. Now, here's the thing. They're saying, look, you knew about it the day before, by the way. They actually had gone out and talked about how they were going to do this thing, but it was going to be an undisclosed location because they wanted to make sure the cops wouldn't be there, right? And they would get away with this. And so they're saying, hey, but you were part of the conspiracy. Don Lemon says, hey, as a reporter, I don't have the obligation to be a snitch. They told me, but that's not me setting it up. Then when they got to the church, what they're saying is that you, Don Lemon, use your microphone to sort of hold their people hostage, and you were blocking the door, and therefore you were part of this thing versus basically just reporting it. Don Lemon says, hey, I just happened to be there. All right, they told me where to show up. I showed up. I brought some coffee and donuts, and that's what I did. I did my job. And basically, here's the thing is, this is a very weak case. All right, the press usually has a lot of privilege, but this is different times. One, Don Lemon made the mistake of being mostly black. I know he forgot about it a lot, but he know now. And two is Trump, and Trump is constantly trying to get some revenge against his political enemies. And Don Lemon hasn't been saying nice things about Trump, and so they brought this ridiculous case.
Right. All right, Jason. Once again, we're seeing this, what feels like abuse of power.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a freaking watered down charge. Once again, Don has to hire lawyers. Once again, the United States is paying for their lawyers. I'm just not getting it. I'm just not getting it. Isn't there or shouldn't there be a number of times that a president can sue?
Well, it's not like, challenges in the NFL where you have a certain amount of red flags that you want to play. I mean, this is, you can't say, oh, he's sued 3 times, that's it. I really want to hear what Don Lemon has to say, because this man has a very, very strong opinion of what's going on. And he's basically saying, look, you're attacking me because of, and you can list it, right? So okay, I really want to hear what he has to say.
All right, let's check it out. Bailiff, take it away.
Off whoever you think is going to stop me from reporting. I'll say it, fuck off. If you think you're going to stop me from reporting, if you think that you are going to stop and diminish my voice, then you have as my grandmother would say, you have another thing coming, because that ain't ever going to stop. I don't care what you try to do to me. I am a journalist through and through and through. And I came from strong, sturdy peasant stock that built this country for free. This is my country through and through. If anyone deserves the freedom and the rights and the Constitution of this country, it is me, this little black boy from Louisiana that came from enslaved people who have not always and still don't always have the same freedoms as white people do in this country. So for all of you people who are so aggrieved,
maybe I didn't want to hear what he had to say because it was but here's the question:
I actually got mad at what he has to say. But can I please see what his husband looks like?
There you go.
That right there is where it gets interesting to me. This is where it gets interesting to me. Was Don Lemon done wrong? Absolutely. Is he being made an example of? Absolutely.
100%.
But don't all of a sudden, and this is just my opinion, it just feels awkward that he all of a sudden now has evolved into this, champion for black rights. Sean Carter, am I the only one that thinks like this?
No. I thought he was gonna break into swing low, sweet chariot. he done got all Dr. Umar on us, and he need to slow down a little bit, all right? Because your grandmama also told you to take off her dress, all right? So don't act like you listen to grandma all the time, all right? Sometimes you didn't listen to grandma. And here's the bottom line: he is right here. And by the way, I want to be clear because we mentioned John Lemon, but he wasn't the only one. There was a smaller influencer named Georgia Fort, sister, who also is caught up in this. I think people wanted to make sure we mentioned that in the comments. So, we riding for both of them and maybe for her a little more. I think Georgia Fort's a woman, right?
Yeah, right. That's after scenes, please lift up Georgia Fort's name. Yeah. She's a local journalist that has also been arrested. I saw that. That one scared me. All right, guys, we're running out of time, so I got to take this to the end. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do we rank this case, Attorney Weiss?
-3.
Attorney Carter?
2.
All right, everybody, you heard it right here. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. And as always, continue in the chat. Everybody get ready for the chat. Get ready, get ready, get ready. We are now at the part where you run this courtroom. In the chat, we're going to vote case by case, type guilty or not guilty in the court of public opinion. Don't forget, we need 3 guilties or 3 not guilties for the individuals that are in our court this day. Starting first case, Vernon Davis. Is Vernon Davis guilty or not guilty for touching that lady? Drop down in the chat. Guilty or not guilty for touching that pregnant lady? Guilty or not guilty? Drop down in the chat. Is Vernon Davis guilty or not guilty for beating that lady while she was pregnant? Editor says guilty. That's 1 guilty. New York Marie says guilty. That's 2 guilties. Brenda K says not guilty, so that's 2. Not SL says not guilty. Brenda K. Christine R says guilty. That's 3 guilties. Vernon Davis, you've been found guilty. Guilty is charged for beating up that lady. Next up, Trump versus Wolff. Is Trump guilty or not guilty for weaponizing lawsuits? Is Trump guilty or not guilty for weaponizing lawsuits? Drop down in the chat. RQMJGJDS says guilty. High Maintenance says guilty. Sandra McGee says guilty. Trump, you have been found guilty. Guilty in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion for abusing your power. Next up, Sha'Carri. Is Sha'Carri and her boyfriend Coleman guilty or not guilty for reckless driving and reckless behavior? Guilty or not guilty for reckless driving and reckless behavior? Jump down in the chat. Guilty or not guilty? Caramel says guilty. Leandra says guilty. Afrosine says guilty. Editor says guilty. Christine R says guilty. Sha'Carri Coleman, guilty. You found guilty in the court of public opinion. Last but not least, Don Lemon. Is Don Lemon guilty or not guilty for causing that ruckus over in that lady church house? Is he guilty or not guilty? Is Don Lemon guilty or not guilty for causing that ruckus over there in the courthouse? All right, what you guys say? Is he guilty? Leandria says not guilty. Editor says not guilty. Alfred Singh says not guilty. Don Lemon, you've been found not guilty for causing a ruckus in that church house. All right, everybody, tonight we learned something simple. A denial is not a defense, but it's also not a conviction. We also learned that defamation law doesn't care who you like. It cares what you can prove. Speed is fun until it turns your life into a case file. And when federal power meets protest coverage, we all better pay attention because this president ain't messing around. He don't care who you are. Mess with him and he's going to try to put you in jail. In real court, you're innocent until proven guilty. But in this court, we don't care. It's guilty on how we feel. I'm Judge Al Reynolds. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Be sure to like, subscribe, and drop the next case that you want on the docket. Court is now adjourned. Thank you all for joining, and happy Black History Month.